Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW review for the 3rd of February, 2021. And this was yet another really good show from AEW this week. Um, Even though there was talent I didn't like on the show, storyline development is going in directions that I enjoy. Um, for the most part, and there were surprises that caught me off guard, which I always enjoy. I've learned that at this point in my 32-year fandom, I care more about story development than I do about supposed quality of matches and moves. Any idiot can do moves, but it takes talents, men and women, to tell stories. And so that's just something I've learned. Anyway, we open with a promo from Sammy Hager, uh, cheering on Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara. And then there's the tag team battle royal, tag team championship battle royal. Winners go on to the pay per view on March 7th to face the Young Bucks. I'm not a fan of battle royals this close to the Royal Rumble. I'm not a fan of battle royals as it is. I hated calling them when I did commentary. I don't enjoy watching them. I don't enjoy them at all. But this served a purpose and it moved things forward, so it's there. 10 teams are in this thing, and both members need to be eliminated. FTR removed from the match as a result of the post match issues last week. They are replaced by John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Young Bucks were last to make entrances, so they did dives onto everyone before the match starts, which I think is just goofy. Guys that are almost 40, maybe 35, diving just for the sake of diving. Get over yourselves. Honestly, it's annoying. Um, and they hit a bunch of teams with spears and super kicks, and the battle royal uh, starts after Isaiah Cassidy misses a rather big dive. Dante Martin is eliminated by Private Party. Jake Hager eliminated by, or gets ends up eliminating Alex Reynolds. Stu Grayson um, is I don't know, inconsequential to me, but Silver eliminates Hager. Matt Jackson gets sent out of the ring pretty early in the match. Jericho and MJF eliminates Anthony Bowens of the Acclaim, and Luchasaurus does well. He basically runs wild on just about everybody. I'm a major fan of maybe making Luchasaurus a single star at some point, a year in the future, something like that. He knocks everyone down, and I think that character could have more of a story told. Grayson tries to send Luchasaurus over the top. Luchasaurus sends him on to Bowens before being eliminated by the Dark Order. MJF tosses out Evil Uno. Um, the block of the silly string happens, which leads to an elimination there. Silver suplexes both members of Private Party and gets eliminated for his trouble. Nick Jackson goes nuts on Santana and Ortiz, tosses and sends out both members of the team. Cassidy and Nick Jackson have an exchange. Gallows and Anderson appear and eliminate Cassidy by pulling down the ropes. Nick gets into it verbally with the Good Brothers, and MJF gets into it and dumps Nick Jackson out. Jericho, MJF, Guevara, Jungle Boy, Darius, and Max Caster are the final half dozen. Inner Circle member wrestles one-on-one with one of the non-Inner Circle members for a while. Inner Circle works together to try and eliminate Jungle Boy. MJF eliminates Jungle Boy eventually. Like the story they're telling that goes back to their singles matches at various points, MJF and Guevara face off. Caster attacks both of them. Caster holds up MJF. Guevara ends up super kicking Caster. Caster eliminates MJF and Darius eliminates Caster. Final three are Jericho, Guevara, and Darius. The Sex Gods work together with Darius, but Darius sends them down with a double DDT, and Darius eliminates Guevara. Jericho tries to eliminate him and dumps Guevara in the process. Um, and then the Judas Effect eliminates Darius in the end. Jericho and MJF are the number one contenders. That should be good at the pay-per-view. I actually would like to see the Bucks in there with guys who know how to pace a match. That excites me. Jade Cargill video plays. She's shown working out. And Tony Schiavone brings out Darby Allin to Sting. Next week, Allin will defend the TNT Championship against Joey Janela. Please run me over with a car now. Why is Janela on national television? I don't get it. Team Taz interrupts. They're banned from the building, as are FTR this week. Lots of rules being set down. Anyway, and Taz says they'll be watching close next week. Starks says Sting's not the same guy he was in the past. He's not the man they call Sting. He's not an icon. He says Sting's going to get hurt playing in the jungle, and wishes Darby Allin luck because he needs it. If he needs luck against Joey Janela, then we all just need to pull the plug on TNT. Joey, I'm sorry, but I literally would rather see a wrestling school trainee get the shot than Janela. Sting said he'd be there with Allin next week to make sure it's a one-on-one match. And Sting says that Team Taz needs to take a better look at him if they don't think he's the same icon he once was. Video package plays recapping the feud that's gone on for several months with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Rebel defeats Thunder Rosa. Awesome match. Probably the best match Baker has had. Thunder Rosa needs to be, if she's not already under full-time contract, she needs to be. She's phenomenal. Rosa attacks Rebel pre-match. Baker goes into the lockjaw. Rosa rolls out of it and hits a beautiful short dropkick, Japanese style. She lays in strikes, and they do a bunch of chain wrestling. Senton from Rosa gets a near fall. She keeps on the offense for quite a while. Hits a pump kick. She maintains control on the floor. And then Rosa dives onto the apron, leading to a commercial. Baker regains control during the break. Rosa gets in the ring, breaking the count. They battle on the ramp. Rosa hits a Death Valley driver. Ouch. Back in the ring, Rosa lands a jumping clothesline and a corner drop kick for a near fall. Rosa goes for a finish. Baker hits the sling blade and a thrust kick for a near fall. Rosa hits many kicks. Baker fights out of some piledriver attempts, hits a air raid crash for a near fall. Baker puts on the glove, goes for the lockjaw. Rosa reaches the ropes. Baker hits the stomp and cradles Rosa in the lockjaw. And Baker keeps it applied. Rosa finally reaches her feet and suplexes her way out of the move. Rosa hits another Death Valley driver and then applies her own submission. Rebel pulls the turnbuckle pad off. Rosa lets go of the hold, chasing Rebel, and Baker avoids a corner attack, sending her into the turnbuckle. Baker applies the lockjaw, leading to a referee stoppage. Best match for Baker in a while. I'd really like to see Baker and Shida at some point, maybe the pay-per-view. They're doing the women's 16 women tournament for the number one contendership. This could be fun. Anyway, we go to last week, Matt Hardy and Hangman Page. They're interviewed by Schiavone. They're in the dressing room. Hardy said they'd have great chemistry. Page didn't want a partnership. Hardy says he has no motives in a slimy tone. He said he was upset that Chaos Project gets revenge for interrupting Negative One's birthday party, which leads to Page and Hardy versus Chaos Project Luther and Serpentico. I mean, I get it's a throwaway match to advance the Hangman and Hardy story, but you're telling me they didn't have a better tag team than Luther and Serpentico for this? Anyway, Hardy dominates Serpentico early, tags in Page, hits a running shooting star for near fall. Hardy hits a side effect. Luther blind tags his way in, comes back with some strikes. Luther uses his partner as a weapon, as he always does. Hardy, Serpentico misses a swanton bomb. Hardy reaches Page for the tag. Page goes nuts, fall away slam, plancha, and a spine buster. Page goes for the buckshot lariat. Luther pulls him off the apron, and Page hits a buckshot on Serpentico. Hardy tags himself in, gets the pinfall. So Hardy still being a heel. Hardy wants acknowledgement after the match, but there's certainly some perplexion here. Participants in the AEW Women's Championship Eliminator Tournament. I don't like the name. Why don't we just call it what it is? And number one, Contenders Tournament. And I'm going to get names wrong here. Some of them I do not know. Aja Kong, Yuki Surazaki, Veni, Emi Sakura, Ryo Mizunami, Mel Segura, Rin Kirkuda, Maki Itoshi, Serena D, Britt Baker, Tay Conti, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Anna Jay, Leia Hirsch, and Rio. This is, I don't know the Japanese women's talent except for Aja Kong, and Amy Sakura, who we've seen before, and Riho. The others I do not know, but needless to say, I'm expecting it to be good. Jericho and MJF are interviewed by Alex Marvez. Again, why does he still have a job? About being the number one contenders. And Guevara says that only Jericho and MJF are the contenders and everyone else lost. Jericho calls that collateral damage. Guevara wonders why it's always everyone else who's collateral damage. MJF says it's time to have a conversation and sends Wardlow to get rid of the cameraman. I assume this is plotting the removal of Sammy Guevara from the Inner Circle at some point. Whether Guevara leaves on his own or whether he's beat down and beat out, who knows. Anyway, Kip Sabian, Miro, Charles Taylor, interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Sabian said that Schiavone is lucky to be there. Vicky Guerrero arrives and says it to everyone it's time. I don't know why she's involved in this angle. That didn't make sense to me. Anyway, Guerrero escorted Sabian to the ring, and his wedding party follow. Ford's escorted by Jerry Lynn. Schiavone gets emotional for reasons that don't make sense. Father James Mitchell of ECW fame is presiding over this unholy matrimony and asks the bride and groom to share their vow. Sabian makes a big deal out of how attractive his bride is. Ford started saying, "You have the biggest," and obviously hinting to body anatomy. Sabian cuts her off, and basically he says that he knows why. Anyway, Father James goes through a tirade about making fun of wedding vows, mentioning kayfabe. They both say I do, and Miro said that no one's allowed to object. He said he's been there a few times and asked Father James to move on, pronounces them man and wife, newlyweds make out. Miro brings a toast and demands that Chuck bring everybody champagne. Miro said that he himself is Sabian's wedding present. Charles says it's from him. Miro attacks it and tosses the present out of the ring. Crowd starts chanting, "What is love?" Miro plays along before he says it's time for cake. He looks down and notices that he's shackled to the bottom rope, and Charles shoved Sabian, who in turn knocks Ford's face into the cake. Sabian tries to attack Charles, ends up hitting Miro. Ford jumps on Charles's back, allowing Sabian to attack him. Orange Cassidy pops out of the cake table. Charles uses distraction to attack and with a wine cooler, and Cassidy hit the beach break on Sabian. And then we come back with a recap of Shaquille O'Neal accepting the challenge with Inside the NBA crew. Shaq says that his finish is the Black Tornado. He says it's a spinning back elbow. The match of Shaq and Jade Cargill versus Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet is announced for the May 3rd edition of Dynamite. Hopefully that gets them some Sports Center pub or something similar. Anyway, Lance Archer with Jake Roberts defeats Eddie Kingston in a lumberjack match. Wasn't really a fan of this, and honestly, I don't like Kingston in the ring. I've mentioned that before. Archer is tossing Kingston around. Kingston makes his way into the ring. Butcher and Blade trip Archer and beat him down. Archer fights them off. He tries chokeslam. Avalon's won a lumberjack. Avalon escapes and goes headfirst into the ring post. Kingston sent outside. Billy Gunn sends him back in. Kingston goes after Butcher and Blade on the outside. And a brawl ensues. Archer dove out, leading to a commercial break. Kingston takes control upon coming back. Archer hits a full Nelson bomb and hits other offense. Bunny comes in, hops on Archer's back. Archer is going for the blackout, hits a spinning back fist in the process. Jake Roberts attacks Angelico for a really weird reason. And then Kingston hits an exploder suplex. For near fall, Blade sets up a table. Bear Bronson of Bear Country runs out and spears him through it. This evened the odds for Archer. Archer hits a Uranagi. For near fall, Kingston goes top rope, and Archer hits the blackout for the win. Hopefully this feud is over because it was pointless the whole time. Anyway, FTR accuses Jurassic Express of running to the principal's office and tattling on them. Blanchard gets angry about all the stipulations and asks what it would take to let the best tag team in the world compete. Dax said they weren't bad men, but sometimes they need to be bad men. They reveal that they had kidnapped Marco Stunt, handcuffed him to a chair, and that his mouth was taped. Why couldn't they push him down a flight of stairs or throw him off a roof or something and get him off TV for a few weeks? Wishful thinking, anyway. And then video plays of Joey Dillon talking about his upcoming TV championship match or TNT championship match with Darby Allin next week. TNT championship, Darby Allin and Joey Janela, MJF and Jericho versus The Acclaimed, Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson versus Pretty Peter Avalon and Caesar Bonnie. Feels like a really weak show, actually. Don Callis joins commentary for the match. Pac and Phoenix get their Death Triangle music, and obviously this is your main event. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows, defeat Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix. Match is fine. I know people love Phoenix. I don't see it. I mean, to me, he's a tall, lengthy Rey Mysterio Jr. ripoff who happens to be really good at some spots, but I don't see where he translates to being a money guy. Pac and Anderson go right at it with forearms. He tags in Gallows. Moxley goes right after Gallows with forearms. Gallows takes him down with right hand. Moxley avoids a splash and then hits a regal knee. Gallows kicks out really quickly. Anderson and Phoenix tag in, and Death Triangle works over everybody. Officials distracted. Omega grabs the leg of Pac, and Gallows slams him off the top rope. Heels isolate Pac until a snap German suplex on Omega, and then he gets the tag. Moxley hits a suplex on Anderson for near fall. He's up with a plancha on Gallows. He sends Anderson to the floor, lands a dive on the Good Brothers before sending Omega into the barricade. Go to commercial. Moxley gets hit with a gun stun. And then Phoenix nails Omega with a Rana and sends Gallows out with kicks. Lands a springboard headbutt on Anderson. And then there's some moonsaults by Phoenix. Phoenix lands a cutter on Omega for a near fall. Omega fights out of the Fire Thunder Driver for a near fall. And Omega sends Phoenix off the top rope and hits a Snapdragon suplex. Gallows hits a big boot for near fall. Pac tags in and nails Gallows with strikes. Gallows kicks out at a 1 count. Pac runs in face first. Gallows hits a thrust kick and they beat down Pac. There's a triple neck breaker. Moxley breaks up the pinfall. Omega flattens Pac with a Liger bomb for near fall. Omega then hits a V-trigger and goes for the one-wing angel. Pac fights out of it, and his teammates make the save. Pac hits a German suplex for a 2 count. Moxley tags back in, goes for the Bulldog choke. Good Brothers interfere. Moxley and Omega have an exchange. Omega hits the V-trigger. Moxley hits a lariat out of that. Phoenix dispatched the Good Brothers with a crazy dive where he almost kills himself in the process. Omega hits a paradigm shift of his own. Pac breaks up the pin attempt with a 450 splash. Anderson goes in with the gun stun, and Moxley reverses it on him. Phoenix tags in, hits a springboard moonsault for a near fall. Anderson hits a spine buster. Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer on Phoenix, and Omega sends Pac out with a V-trigger for the win. Two teams are brawling all the way around. Lance Archer runs out and sends the Good Brothers away. Moxley and Omega are in the ring. Masked Guy runs in, laying out Moxley. Kenta from New Japan holds the right to challenge Moxley for the IWGP United States Championship and is a member of the Bullet Club. He finishes off Moxley to hit the go to sleep. I love this, and I love this because now AEW is working with not only Impact, which a lot of people think is a lesser brand, but they're working with New Japan. If they could find a way to work with Ring of Honor 2 and the NWA 2 and work with all these companies against WWE, and I'm mark my words, give it 5 to 7 years at this rate, WWE will be licking its wounds permanently. They need to wake up and realize that even with lesser talent and disorganization of only being around for a couple of years, this new company in AEW is putting them to shame. And if other companies follow this model, WWE in 10 to 15 years will be a distant memory of a company because their model doesn't work anymore. And I love it because I've been dissatisfied with WWE for 20 years. Anyway, until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.